Why this fool got more comics than a motherfucker?
Ready?
Hello, and welcome to MCMF, More Comics Than a Motherfucker. My name is Marcus, and I have a lot of comic books. I talk a lot about comic books. I frankly never shut the fuck up about comic books. It's ruining all of my personal relationships. So I decided, let's just double down and make all my friends read comic books. Joining me on this first episode, our maiden voyage, is someone who it just dawned on me this week is I've known for 10 fucking years. My friend Jake. Jake, how are you?
Hey. No, I'm doing great, man. Like I was saying before we got started, 10 years, mutuals, online buddies, pals, friends, and this is the very first time I've ever seen you in motion, which is kind of
fun.
Grim. It's a little grim to me in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how that would happen. Let me flip that. Oh shit, that works way better. For this first episode, we read The Judas Contract by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. The story proper is New Teen Titans / Tales of the Teen Titans 42 through 44 and the
annual
annual 3, right? Yeah. But the story, as it is in the trade, actually starts in New Teen Titans 39. Also, this book switches names halfway through this stretch of issues. It's very weird. It starts out as New Teen Titans and then becomes Tales of the Tales of the Teen Titans in issue 41.
That's some real comic book shit.
Yeah, that's peak comic book shit, and I have no clue why it does that. Like, my only guess is that the New Mutants was coming out around the same time, and they were like, they figured there'd be too much like crossover there, like too much, like people might get confused because they're both the new blank.
Well, I mean, confused, but also like as we were discussing before we started recording. This is basically an X-Men story.
This book
right?
is X-Men as shit, and it's crazy. Because, I mean, it helps that helps that idea in the sense that they're both team books that came out around the same time, focusing on a young cast. Because the Avengers and the Justice League don't have much in common, but I think that because of the nature of the Teen Titans and the nature of the X-Men, since they're both so centered around people in their early to late teens, early 20s, there's a lot of comparison that can be made between the two. And we were actually talking about it because the first thing we're going to talk about here is the forward to the trade of the New Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, written by Marv Wolfman. And Wolfman talks about, like, I'm not going to read it word for word, but when the New Teen Titans was first published back in 1980, many fans thought we were simply ripping off the idea from the X-Men. And Wolfman points out that he wrote the original run of the Teen Titans in 1969, and then just loved them, and then got to come back and write them again in 1980. So as a result, like, there's a lot of similarity there, because the X-Men similarly went away in 1970, came back in 1975, and focused again on the young cast. But according to Wolfman, Chris Claremont once said at a comic convention that the only similarity is that they were both working on former cult titles and had made them more popular than before. So Marv Wolfman, genius that he is, decided, all right, I'm going to lean into it. And thus, kind of in response to the existence of Kitty Pryde as this plucky teen girl character hanging out with the X-Men, the newest member of the X-Men, he would create his own character who was a young teenage girl who would join the Teen Titans, but instead she would be a villain who would betray them. Thus, Tara Markov, aka Terra, essentially the main character of the Judas Contract. Like, this story is about two people above all else, and that is her and Slade. They are the principal characters of this story.
Yeah, and let me point out one thing before we get started. Tara, interesting character. They did the best they could trying to get as much of her personality in this arc as possible. And, I get it that... I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't read as much of this run with Wolfman. I've read a lot of it because I think Wolfman is a fantastic writer, and Perez is a fantastic artist, so great stuff to go back to, but I hadn't read as much with Tara. And we'll get into more of this in a second, but the critiques I may have, I still think they did a pretty good job of cramming in as much of her backstory and personality as possible to make this work. One critique I have, is there a reason why her dialogue was the way it was? Because she sounded like some sort of bizarre street urchin from, like, I don't know, New York or something. A lot of mebbies, like M-E-B-B-Es.
Okay, so everybody talks like that. Everybody in this book, whenever they say maybe, they say maybe. It's very weird.
It is.
I think that's just a Wolfman thing.
Okay.
But I think it's more noticeable with Terra because she says it a lot. But there are some panels where Cyborg says it, and I think Changeling says it a few times. Also,
well,
I'm definitely Slade might say it too. I'm definitely going to kind of interchangeably call Gar Beast Boy and Changeling. The name didn't stick. Sorry, Marv.
No,
it did not stick.
I was born in the 90s, which means that's Beast Boy.
Sorry. Right, yeah. My first exposure to him is Teen Titans 2003. That's Beast Boy.
That's Beast Boy. By the way, I think that's on HBO. So, if you think I'm not going to go back and watch that whole thing?
This made me think maybe I should go back and watch this show, because they essentially, the season 2 arc is about Terra and about this story, and that colored a lot of my opinion of, like, the thing I kept coming back to, and we'll get into more detail about this, but the thing I kept coming back to was the fact that Terra is so much more of a sympathetic character in the show. And that was a deliberate choice that they made when they adapted that. But here she's she is very much not that, let's say. No. And this is not a podcast if we don't continually say, we'll get more into that in a minute. Yeah.
Because that's every podcast.
Yeah.
But it does, I think it's relevant to go ahead and start with the idea that I feel like they wrote Terra, whatever. It's,
okay, I do want to say really quick, it's really dumb to me that her name and her code name.
Thank you.
It's the same thing with different pronunciations.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure her first name is supposed to be pronounced Tara, and her code name is Terra. Which,
fine,
all right,
whatever.
Okay,
but it is interesting that they basically wrote her the way that, like, Dr. Loomis in Halloween talks about Michael Myers, where it's like, this is not a human. This is just raw evil personified.
I mean, that's basically what Raven says to her.
Right, and like, I don't know if I like that or not, because I feel like, and I guess this is a decent segue into the beginning, like the foreword or something, the prologue, I guess, which is that, she is somebody who I feel like they could have made an even more sympathetic character out of, like, more of a tragic figure than I think she ended up being. Because in the foreword, and I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, but in the foreword, it is pretty well established that she's kind of being groomed by Slade, right?
You're supposed to get the implication of that, but then Slade says some things later that's like, wait, was she always like this? Because, so, like, we might as well jump right in, because in one of the earlier pages, you do see her and Slade, and you never explicitly see that there's anything going on with her and Slade, but she does later refer to Slade as her lover, and they're always calling each other honey and shit like that. So it's like, no, Slade is definitely having sex with this teenage girl.
Right, and that's what I thought. I feel like they kind of wasted an opportunity later on in the arc, because in the beginning it seems clear to me. One, I thought it was pretty heavily implied that they were lovers.
It's implied like crazy. They just never say. There's never a panel of her laying in bed next to Slade, you know?
Right, and so like there's that, and I was thinking, well, this could be sort of the indication that not only is he grooming her to be a villain, he's also grooming her sexually, right?
Yeah.
That's what I took from it, and I wish that they had kind of stuck with that, you know?
Yeah.
But it feels like they kind of took the easy way out and just turned her into this like sort of natural-born killer. But no,
She's just New Jack.
Well, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh no.
She throws Beast Boy off a scaffold.
She's out here doing hardcore matches with some rando off the street. Yeah,
God.
absolutely.
To make Slade Mustafa.
Yes. She's straight up taking thumbtack bumps in here. That's go ahead and spoiler warning right there.
She's taking liberties.
Jesus.
Okay.
Well, so I guess to get back to the prologue, I mean, first of all, the very first note that I took was, and I quote, "Starfire is bad as hell."
Oh man. Okay.
Am I the only? Okay. There's no way I'm the only one here.
Oh! You don't have to tell me.
Okay. Because I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm like, are we 1000% sure this is a teen comic? Because
Starfire,
bro,
Starfire is 6'4", walking around wearing basically nothing.
Check. She could kill me.
Yes.
Check.
Okay, so in one of the first issues, I want to get into this because it does actually play into the story. Because the story of the Judas Contract is that Slade Wilson, the Deathstroke the Terminator, inherited a contract from his son, Grant Wilson, aka the Ravager. In that issue, the issue where that occurs is issue number 2, and one of the first things that happens is Starfire from off panel, just blasts Grant in the chest with a starbolt. Because she does not like the way that he is talking to his girlfriend. He hasn't even done anything yet. He's not even a villain yet. Starfire just doesn't like him.
That is foreplay, though. Let's be real. I'm just saying.
Grant gets the powers from the Hive, who are basically, this is a long game they're playing to get Slade to work for them for free. So it's all right. We get Grant. We convince him to go through our experiments and let us give him powers that will kill him. And then Slade will, out of guilt, pick up his son's contract, and we get free labor out of Deathstroke the Terminator.
They're doing wage theft.
Yes.
Yes. He needs a union rep.
Where is the Legion of Doom's union rep?
They're sitting around in their room just plotting mass destruction, and all of a sudden, kind of like a dumpy guy with a goatee wanders in, like, all right, we're gonna have to negotiate this in the next contract, fellas.
Gorilla Grodd is collecting everybody's dues.
Yup.
Okay, so it works. They get Slade to pick up the contract, and that is the thing that sets in motion this whole thing. This is issues 39 through 44 in the annual. This story is set in motion in issue 2.
Damn. And this tracks. Like, I don't mean to get us off track again,
No, you're good.
but I mean, this does track because, like, the thing that I picked up immediately, again, I've read a lot of Wolfman stuff. It's been years. I'm sure I have quite a bit of it in storage. But I've always loved the 80s Titan. That was just such a golden age for that kind of book.
It's the reason that's the team they always go back to. Whenever they want to do the Titans, they always bring back late era Robin, Kid Flash, Raven, Starfire, Beast Boy. And even if they don't do Kid Flash, it'll be Cyborg. Basically everybody but Wally and Donna they bring in.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what instantly stuck out to me is that the team dynamic is just clicking from the go. I mean, it is clear that not only have they set this in motion, but it was a wonderful point to just jump in on. And that's impressive. You know, it's sort of like in pro wrestling where like a good story arc is one that pays off for people who have been paying attention.
But isn't hard for somebody new to get into.
Exactly. I think of like when Kofi won at WrestleMania.
It's the easiest story to explain.
It's so easy to explain. Or when Daniel Bryan won in the three-way match, you know, like all of these things are things that if you have been watching for a long time, you're rewarded. But also, if you just jump in, it instantly clicks. And I feel like they nailed that with this arc. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, somebody like me, I could go back from years and be like, oh yeah, this totally works. These guys are totally a fantastic team, and everything is starting to make sense without feeling like they're pandering.
Right, without feeling like they are like spoon feeding it to you, which I think a lot of, I don't want to say modern comics, but a lot of newer stuff kind of runs into the problem of is like, all right, we're going to have a box explaining this, and we're going to have go back and read this for this. You can just start that. You can pick this trade up and just go because it establishes everything that needs to be established.
Precisely.
These are the Titans. Terra is working for Slade. Slade is working for the Hive. Brother Blood is a problem.
Brother Blood, man. We'll get to him in just a second, but I will say the one thing that stuck out to me that sort of broke it for me a little bit was the, I think it was Slade, where they were saying basically along the lines of like, yes, let me use Power A that I totally have and have had for however many years, and then I will supplement it with Power B, and let me explain in thorough detail what Power B is, and it's like, okay, all right, I know what you're doing here.
Okay. I understood the point.
I'm following.
Okay, so let's start with New Teen Titans number 39. So this opens up in Alaska. They're at like a military base that has been actually infiltrated by Brother Blood's goons. I don't think they ever give a name to like Brother Blood's like disciples or whatever. They're just a bunch of dudes. Mm-hmm. And the Titans beat down. You know, they're beating everybody down, and they end up getting trapped in a power grid. And they escape by. It's like Cyborg and Starfire channel energy through Beast Boy, who is an electric eel.
Yes.
And then
very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Like it's established that this is something they've done before, but it just sucks to do, and they hate doing it because it really wears Vic and Corey out. Also, I love that her name is Coriander, and then when she needed to like humanize it. They just split it in half, and her name became Corey Anders.
Oh Lord, I didn't know about the Anders part, but that's just peak. That is peak comic book.
It's 1984. It's like
you're damn right. It's 1984. And speaking of, is this not the most 1984 like foreign policy comic book? I was shocked at how much like foreign policy.
There's so much shit involving senators in this story.
So much, and they're talking about like buying stuff from Libya or something.
Yeah, there's like a thing where it's like we can't send the military might of the United States to Zambia. It's what the fuck? What are we talking about?
You mean we didn't do that during the Cold War? Come on now,
Marv. We were paying attention, man. We know what happens. But they break out. They beat up Brother Blood's goons, and then we get a couple really good pages of Terra narrating to Slade, and this is all done through her point of view, like visually. Like it is shot, like it is drawn as though you are looking through Terra's eyes, because Slade is actually looking through Terra's eyes, because he gave her this camera contact lens, which, by the way, Deathstroke fucking loves putting shit in people's eyes. He thinks it's great.
There's something going on there, because, he has one eye. So,
yeah. But, like, he also... I don't know if you remember, or if you read this run, during the Nightwing solo series, it's the origin of how Rose, Ravager number 2, Slade's daughter, gets her... how she loses her eye. Slade's, like, pumping her full of drugs. It's a mess. And then she has a break, like a psychotic break, and carves her own eye out with like a batarang.
Sick.
It's fucking disgusting. It rules. And so then, like, she's like, I want to be like you, Dad, and like jabs her eye out. It's crazy. And then Slade gives her a kryptonite eye.
All right, so people listening cannot see me, but I was just like, come on.
Slade gives her a kryptonite eye, and Dick looks at her, because at the time I think Dick is working for Slade undercover or something, and he looks at her and he goes, "You know that's gonna give you cancer, right? You know that's just like
not ideal,
super radioactive, right?" She's like, my
ideal.
dad would never do that. He'd never do anything to hurt me. And it's like, well,
your dad, who talks about himself as Deathstroke,
the Terminator.
Your dad, Deathstroke, the Terminator, would not do. Okay.
And then he like holds a Geiger counter over her eye. And it's just he's like, it's like, are you still doubting me?
Vegas over here.
Because like I've been fighting your dad since I was 15 years old. He would absolutely do this. I know your dad better than you do. Your dad is an asshole, Rose.
Good lord. Oh man, take us back, please. Get us on track.
Yeah,
We're gonna BS all night.
So, Terra is narrating to Slade, and she's like, "Man, I fucking hate the Teen Titans so fucking much." She's like, "I fucking hate all of them so much, especially Garfield Logan. God, I fucking hate him. He's so gross."
I think he's charming.
I think he's great. I think he is a menace in this story. He's doing bits every chance he can get.
He's a Pepe Le Pew ass.
Yes. There's a bit later. We'll get to it later. But she's like, "I'd rather kiss a cobra than you." He's like, "You know I can do that, right? That's all." It's like, "Give me a king cobra anytime, baby."
It kicked off the hentai trend way too early.
So some senators get exposed as working for Brother Blood. This is later revealed to be a trick. These guys have nothing to do with Brother Blood, and I think in the moment, either Nightwing or Wonder Girl goes, "There's like an orgy of evidence here. Are we sure that?" Well, he's still Robin at the time. He's not Nightwing yet, but either Dick or Tana goes like, "Don't you guys think it's weird that there's all this evidence here?"
Yeah. No, and I mean, it's not like senators ever get duped or anything.
No, they get tricked, bamboozled, led astray.
Clearly just some comic book stuff there.
Yeah. And so then we get... My note here is, what the fuck is she wearing? That is a robe and nothing else. Mm-hmm. Because Terra... We cut to seeing Terra inside Deathstroke's hideout. She is... I've got the panel pulled up. She is wearing a pink, like a silk bathrobe, no less than 8 bracelets, a gold necklace, and matching earrings, and she is smoking a cigarette. Also,
she's about to sign to Cash Money.
Yeah. She looks like... This looks like you could just reshoot this whole thing with Lil' Kim and no one would notice. No one would catch the reference.
So I'm sorry, I was vaping when you said that, and I had to hold the laughter because I was going to choke to death. So,
like, this is simultaneously 1984 and 1998. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. She's also sitting on what appears to be like a fucking, like the biggest beanbag chair.
mean, that sounds luxurious.
She is living her best life. She is also constantly smoking in these issues.
Well, look, that's the thing, all right?
As was the style at the time.
If you want to establish that somebody's a villain,
They smoke.
they smoke, clearly, which is not real life.
Yeah.
We all know that smoking is really, really cool.
Smoking's like one of the coolest things you can do.
Clearly.
I'm gonna put a Surgeon General's warning over this. She's like, yeah. Slade's like, do you think the congressman are working for blood? And she's like, fucking unlikely. Why would he only guard it with like 6 guys? That would be really stupid. He definitely wanted them to find that.
One other note I have from this prologue here, not quite related, but worth noting, that Robin costume is, and I quote, alarmingly small.
So they established later, he has been wearing the same costume for like 10 years.
That shit is musty, bro.
That dry cleaning bill is stupid high.
Poor Alfred.
Dick says Dick says later that he has worn this costume since he became Robin. He is like 18 here. He became Robin when he was like 9.
Those are puberty pants, man.
I mean, shout out to the elastic in that for holding that long, because he's way taller now.
Oh my lord,
that's a grown man.
You hate to hear it.
My next note is Slade should be under the jail.
Correct.
He is again definitely having sex with this teenager, which it is 1984.
Oh, did that make a difference?
No, well, remember at the time, they were also doing the thing in X-Men stuff with Colossus and Kitty. Like at the time, I don't think that writers were as tapped into, is this fucking weird?
Is this kind of fucked up?
Is this kind of fucked up that this is like an adult and a child? Like, because like, I think a few issues before this, like maybe issue 34, it's either 34 or 38, establishes that Terra is 16.
Right. Like, well, no, she gets into that later.
Yeah, but like that issue is, whichever issue I'm thinking of, it is on page her birthday. Like they make her a cake and sing her happy birthday.
And it conspicuously says 16.
They're like, she's like, wow, you're 16 now, Terra. And Terra is.
Hey, audience, she is 16 years old.
Please take note.
But yeah.
This is a high school junior.
Correct. So to continue on to here, so when do we get to Brother Blood again? Because I read this in one long run through the trade.
So let's see. There's a few pages of Terra beating up Slade. Like Terra and Slade are training, and she just whoops his ass. He's like, "Fuck, this girl could kill me, without trying." Like Slade is here to do the job.
Right.
In these pages,
he is on his job. He's about it. We know.
Well, I mean, he's the JOB squad. He's Al Snow here. Just getting his ass whooped. Pin me, pay me. Slade, Deathstroke, Wilson.
Hey, man, you got to do the job, brother.
Yeah. I said, all right, Terra, so let's get some offense. She said, that doesn't work for me, brother.
No, brother.
So then Wally is on his way they have a barge to get them back and forth to the island. Mm-hmm. And Wally is on, like, she spots Wally on it and is like, hey, who the fuck are you? Because she's never seen him outside of his costume. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, it's Kid Flash. Don't fucking sweat it. Shut up. But also, I'm quitting because Wally's losing his powers around this time. I don't think it's ever explained why, and I don't know how he gets them back. But he is losing his powers aren't working. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's been having some trouble with school, and so he's like, all right, I'm gonna retire for a while, and focus on school and hanging out with this chick Frances Kane, which, by the way, like there are two completely separate people with the last name Kane in this story, and I don't know how that happened, and in my head, I would like to pretend these people are tangentially related to Kate Kane and are thus Bruce's distant cousins, because I think that would be funny. I frankly think it would be very funny for Deathstroke to have been married to Batman's cousin.
Very fair, but I'm going to beg you not to make me go down headcanon rabbit holes.
That's fair. Like, Wally is leaving, and Terra, they really try and sell the idea that Terra might be having a change of heart. Because Terra actually looks like she's having like second thoughts about it. She's looking like she actually looks upset to see Wally go. Mm-hmm. And it's like, is she just a really good actor, or does she like actually consider Wally her friend?
Another thing I wish they would have stuck with, honestly.
Because she says to him, like, you're one of the only people in this house I like. Mm-hmm. And I think she meant that. Like, I have no reason to doubt that she meant that particular thing, because like they don't go after Wally later, and they totally could. Yeah, and that's again something that I wish they would have followed up with, and I'm kind of glad that they made her a little more sympathetic later on in media appearances, but they don't. Yeah, for better or worse. For better or worse. Also, I didn't realize this was in this issue that Dick. I thought this happened in 40. Dick quits being Robin here. And yes, this costume is holding on for dear life. Oh yeah, banana hammock all the way. Just full hog. Just the meat is out. He's just Finn Balor. Well, I mean, look, man. Here's the thing. Different era. If you were sleeping with Starfire, if I'm sleeping with Starfire, I'm just letting it all hang out. Yeah, you're lucky I'm wearing the banana hammock, bro. I mean, I'm just just pointing like, hey, you see this? You know where this has been? All right. Well, he should be posted up like Shawn Michaels in, you know, the picture where he's correct. Where he's got the belt draped across his junk. That should be. I just recently saw Jordan Grace recreate that picture. Oh, she did. Yes, yeah. I'm quite aware. No just comment. Aware. There's no just aware of it. You know, nothing else to it. Also, Starfire is super upset here too. She's like, "Are you like in tears? Like, are you quitting? Are you leaving me?" Because that's been her arc for like the last like 10 issues. Is her like constantly going, "What's wrong with Dick? Is he angry at me? Did I do something? Is he gonna fucking leave me?" And everyone who has ever met Dick is like, "No, he does this sometimes. Right? He's Bruce's son. He's really dramatic. We all know you got the yank, Starfire. It's okay. That boy's not going nowhere." No. Roy Harper, though, to his credit, Speedy's like, however, if he is leaving, here's my number. And Dick's like, would you fuck off, please? Would you like, what is your problem? Options. Look. Options. Which makes the new 52 Red Hood and the Outlaws fucked, because Roy is right away like, hey, so do you remember a guy named Dick? No? Okay, cool. You want to fuck over there? There's going to be a episode in the very near future where I'm going to make Will read Red Hood and the Outlaws. Beautiful. So it's like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm just quitting being Robin. I'm not going to be the leader for a while. Donna, you're in charge. Also, as Dick is taking off his costume symbolically, Terra starts taking liberties. And she's like whistling like a Tex Avery wolf. Well, I mean, to be fair, true. You know, it is him. It's him. We know where it's been. She's like, "Woo! Take it off." He's like, "Relax, Terra." His exact line is, "Trying to have a moment. I'm being. I need you to stop." He's like, "I'm only stripping away my identity, not my clothes. This isn't cable TV." Well, damn. And so he quits being Robin and makes Donna the leader. He gives Terra like a kiss on the cheek, and he's like, "There've been a lot of Teen Titans before you, but you're the latest. You got a proud tradition to uphold, and something tells me you're gonna do just fine." Like, this is where like the tradition of everybody's big brother Dick Grayson starts. Mm-hmm. 'Cause he really tries to go out of his way to like, include Terra in everything.
Yeah.
And
Which is great. I like that they set this up for the future Fallout in that everybody's trying really hard. And they do a good job of making that apparent. I think.
yeah. This issue is paced really well. Like that's kind of like the ending before the epilogue here, where Dick says goodbye to Wally, and Wally leaves with Francis Kane. Francis Kane, no relation. And we get this really good panel. I just want to highlight it on the last page of issue 39. The last panel is Dick standing on the street, saying to Corey, I'm gonna miss him, and Corey is leaned down on him with her arms around him, and her hair here is gigantic.
Yeah, I was going to say the hair could be a character of its own. If we're being real.
Her hair is like a full head above his. It's crazy. So, Chapter 2, issue New Teen Titans number 40, opens with Brother Blood. My notes here are, this dude is so fucking metal. How did the TV show make him suck so much?
So, alright. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I actually thought that a lot of what's going on with Brother Blood is actually pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And if they had actually done, like, obviously this is a comic book, it's a DC comic book, but I could imagine a scenario where if you got a hold of, like, the grittier, like, 90s DC style.
Oh, yeah.
They could have done some really cool, like, imagine Brother Blood in a Hellblazer comic.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fuck.
Like, that would have been fantastic.
All I'm picturing is, like, imagine Jim Lee drawing Brother Blood.
Yeah. See, I'd be so down for that.
No
Bring
disrespect
him back.
No disrespect to Perez, because this shit is awesome. But
Oh, it's great. But, you know, DC executives, I know you're listening right now. I know that you are taking notes with rapt attention. Bring back Brother Blood. Make him creepier. Please. Put him in Justice League Dark.
Yeah, fuck. He is bathing here in the boiled blood of his enemies. This dude is so sick!
So, alright. So, I am currently wearing a t-shirt from a band called Brand of Sacrifice. Shout out to them, they rock. But I just went to a Dying Fetus concert.
Well, that's a name I haven't heard since, like, 2010.
Well, that's a shame, because they rule. Anyway...
Yeah. I had a friend who was really into them in high school.
Yeah, you got another one. Hi. But my point is... that's the most metal shit I've heard in a while, and I was just in a mosh pit where I almost broke my nose against another person's spine.
Oh,
so
jeez.
That's pretty sweet, is what I'm getting at here.
There's a full page with no dialogue of him coming out of the boiling blood while everyone chants, "Rise, rise, rise, rise." It's so sick!
So cool. But then... Not long after that, and I know we're kind of taking a methodical pace here, but let me hit some highlights, all right? So, shortly after that, he's on, like, television, like on a news panel show. Like,
I have notes about
that. Like, Bill Buckley style, like, debating.
Like it's on First Take.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Brother Blood and Stephen A. Smith.
I was going to say, I just got a mental image of Brother Blood on a panel with Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, and Stephen A. Smith. I need that more than I needed anything in my life.
Oh my god. I need to detail quickly, for those who are not familiar with Brother Blood, or what he looks like in the comics, because in the show, he's just like kind of an old man with like weird hands and this cloak all the time. Brother Blood is wearing a red bodysuit, he's got kick pads over his boots, like he's working a Ring of Honor show in 2008.
Yep.
He's wearing a codpiece.
You didn't have to tell me. That's a given. That's a given.
A white cape, and he's got this helmet on it's red, matches the bodysuit, but then it's got like it's like made out of a triceratops skull. It's so it's got spines, it's got horns, it's got shit sticking out of the front at the mouth. It's
like a predator.
Yes,
you know, like
yes.
Predator's face. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, and he's just standing before his congregation. He says, "Greetings, believers in the right. Welcome to the Church of Brother Blood. A church that began when one sinner saw the light. A church that shall never falter until all unbelievers believe. We are close, my children. So close I can taste success. But success, as with faith, must be earned through belief. Now, my children, pray. Pray for me. Pray for the power of Brother Blood. It's so crazy.
So, all right, I'm glad you mentioned that, because here he is in this incredible costume with boiling blood around him, hitting a Bray Wyatt promo, and then they, like, shortly after that, again, Talking Heads, he's on First Take, or whatever.
The show is called Snowstorm, I think.
Sure.
Let's see.
Why not?
Yeah, it's called Snowstorm with Bethany Snow on cable news, and he is debating the Titans. Like, Donna is speaking for everyone.
I have feelings about this, okay?
Oh, I've that shit in my notes here.
As you know, I am a very politically minded individual, right? And so I'm very familiar with the, oldest time garbage stuff of having, like, major political important things or whatever being discussed on awful cable news panels.
Yeah.
And I have yet to see somebody who kind of looks like, what is his name? The Boogeyman in WWE. But on one of these things, talking to guys who, again, look like Ring of Honor wrestlers in 2008, debating foreign policy.
Donna legit looks like a fucking disco queen. It's
Yes. And so, like, okay, do you remember the Dave Chappelle bit where he was like, who asked Ja Rule about this?
Who the fuck asked Ja Rule?
But yeah, this major political, oh no, I have to find out what Ja Rule thinks about this.
What do the Teen Titans think about this?
Yes, it's the same concept.
What do Wonder Girl and the Changeling have to say about this?
Yes, like we're having, like, a 16-year-old dude with green skin comment on the Cold War.
A dude who not a day before this was getting another tutor to quit because he would not stop doing bits.
Correct.
Like,
and so anyway, shortly after that, right? Like, it doesn't go their way because Brother Blood has, like, this incredible, like,
charisma,
Jedi, Jedi powers to influence people.
Yeah. So I have notes about this because let's see. Brother Blood is using this for recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down, nobody questions a dude named Brother Blood. He looks like he stepped off an Iron Maiden album. He looks like he just came from a Raider game, and people are still buying it. They are signing up for this guy's church. What the fuck? And then on the next page, Donna is like, how are people falling for this? What the fuck?
Yes. The character, like, an audience insert right there, and a needed one. Okay, a necessary one. But then shortly after this, we get to another wonderful fit, alright? So, if I'm not mistaken, the next major plot development is that Dick Grayson decides to go undercover to investigate Brother Blood's compound in Zandia, right?
Yeah.
Because apparently there's a dictator. What is it, President Marcos?
President Marcos, yeah.
Yes. And so, first of all, I love how ambiguous this is.
Zandia can be anywhere. I have no fucking clue where this country is.
I hear Zandia, and I'm like, this was probably an African country colonized by the Dutch, and they named it Zandia or whatever. But then it's like a white guy with like a tweedly mustache, named Marcos. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you for keeping this, like, hilariously ambiguous. But my note on this, and this is why I bring this up, is, and I quote, Dick's disguise is insane. Okay?
He looks like Cody Rhodes.
He does. He has like a bleach blonde, but it's like a perm almost. He looks like my uncle in like 1988. All right? And it's hilarious to look at.
Oh my god. He's got this red suit on. He's got a red suit. His hair is blonde, which is a wig because it comes off later. He's got this blonde wig, a fake mustache. He looks like Cody Rhodes. Like, take 2012, 2013 Cody Rhodes when he had the mustache, bleach all that shit blonde, and put him on present day Cody. That's what Dick looks like right here.
I don't know why I haven't seen Cody Rhodes from that era, but
He
what
screwed
you
his
just
mustache.
described,
He was super-
that's horrible. Horrible. But like,
he just
I'm
showed up on
thinking
TV
about-
one day.
I'm sitting here thinking about, our friend Manny, who saw Brock Lesnar once and said that man was wearing the most racist outfit I've ever seen in my life. Talking about Lesnar when he showed up at the UFC. Not fighting in the UFC, because this was after he popped for steroids, to the surprise of literally not a single person
Zero
on the
people.
planet.
No one alive was surprised by
Which,
this.
digression, just let him do steroids. I'm
Steroids.
sorry.
Hey,
Just
listen,
let him do
steroids in sports are cool.
They're so cool. Anyway,
Steroids saved baseball.
correct. The best era of fist fighting was when they were in Japan and they told them to do steroids. Anyway.
God bless the ring.
God bless it. So, I wanted to point out here, you mentioned Brother Blood, and like as we're going through the compound in Zandia and we're seeing all these things, and there's clearly conflict between the United States and Zandia, and of course Brother Blood plays into this, which by the way, the geopolitics thing is weird here, but I do kind of like the concept that they put up here, which is like Zandia is this sort of rogue nation with an authoritarian leader in President Marcos.
God, I just looked at the picture of President Marco. He's got a fucking John Waters mustache.
Yeah, oh my God, thank you. I saw John Waters. I wasn't sure if I was the only one, if that's intentional, but he looks like John Waters.
Yeah, okay, but go on. Sorry.
But no, I just saw all this stuff, and I thought the geopolitics was really interesting, of this idea of like this sort of Cold War conflict. I mean, it's the 80s, But then I also have this charismatic cult leader within that country that we have conflict with, and it really is a Cold War story.
Yeah.
About how you kept having these instances where the United States would drum up a conflict with some place that it had no business being, and then we would find these people that we would support who were worse than the people we were against.
Yes! Brother Blood is definitely worse.
So much worse. And that's why my notes, and let me just go ahead and read this verbatim. My man's name is Brother Blood, and he wears a cape and a skull mask. Why the hell aren't they drone striking this man? And that's sort of what I'm getting at here. But also, again, I get the plot necessary. It's necessary for the plot that, like, he's got this charismatic spell that he weaves over people. It's part of his magic, yada, yada, yada. But come on.
Listen, I said earlier he looks like he came from a Raiders game. The Raiders might need a new head coach. I don't know if they're going to stick with this interim guy. But you know what?
There it is.
You know who can really fire up your team? Go get Brother Blood.
And Brother Blood can't be more racist than John Gruden.
Oh, I feel like that's impossible.
Okay, hang on. We got to pause. Hang on. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. It's a podcast. You got to get the can click in there. Anyway. Yes, Brother Blood. A fantastic character, though. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I really enjoyed the concept of having this sort of outlandish, cultish leader with all these incredible looks, this incredible aesthetic. It did sort of take me out of it, though, because this felt like such a real story. It's the kind of story that I love the most. The idea of, like, the Icarus complex, somebody rising way too close to the sun, a sort of grooming being, sort of suggested, whether it's sexually or professionally or anything like that. And yet, I feel like it maybe took it a little too fantastical. I don't know how you feel.
So my as I was reading this, like, as I got more into the stuff with Deathstroke later, I'm just thinking to myself, like, what the fuck was the point of that Brother Blood stuff? And I realized, like, oh, it's all for the sake of context. It's also, how Slade learned everything about the Titans was through them fighting Brother Blood because Terra is informing him. And so that's the whole point of this, but also it's like, it feels like you could just ignore this part.
Which sucks, because it's a really cool thing. Like,
Yes.
I kind of wish they were separate arcs, and we could have had a whole Brother Blood thing.
And
totally
the thing
on
is,
its own.
it is... the Brother Blood stuff is kind of just build to the Judas Contract, because both of these stories are happening kind of parallel. Like, the Slade's working for the Hive, and Terra gets introduced, and they bring Terra in, and then they're dealing with Brother Blood, and then they do some other stuff, and then they're dealing with Brother Blood again. They fight the Brotherhood of Evil at one point, and this is a total side note. They fight the Brotherhood of Evil at some point during this run, and they're chasing after Raven. They find Raven in a church, and Raven's like, "Fuck it, we'll fight right here." And they look at her, they're like, "In the church? What? Come on, we're not fucking animals." We got more sense than that. Which I think rules. I think that's incredible. Is you just have the supervillains go, "Wait, hold on a minute. We're gonna fight you in the sanctuary."
Yeah,
This is God's house.
God's house, okay. But you know, I think that I would have really enjoyed an arc separate from this one that had to do with Brother Blood, because I feel like there was so much more that you could have mined out of that dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I understand why it was here, but I still wish that we could have gotten more from Brother Blood on its own. That's all.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Also, Dick shows up with these congressmen who have all been outed as working for Brother Blood. They're like, "We don't fucking know who Brother Blood is. We saw him for some on TV. You guys we don't know how that happened. Somebody got fucking tricked." And so Dick and these congressmen, I don't know why he does this. This is a really dumb plan. Dick and the congressmen go to Zandia to investigate Brother Blood. Why did he take the congressman with him?
So this is actually, so again, I think we're getting into some geopolitics here, right? And how, you know, we do these fact-finding missions. Because I remember that was sort of the compromise, that like, you know, Brother Blood is doing all these things, sure, but we also need to investigate the relationship to the government, which we don't like. And so they would send these sort of toothless, sort of easily duped fact-finders, right?
Yeah. And
you would go and get sort of an official tour of the area, which would ultimately be shifted into whatever the narrative they want it to be. So I thought that was I actually thought that was a little bit of a smart commentary. It's just I don't think they went far enough with it to make it a real commentary. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I wrote down, "This senator looks like Carl Winslow."
Oh my God, does he? Oh my God, he does.
Like the main guy that's with Dick through this, he's just fucking Carl Winslow, which is crazy because Family Matters wasn't on for another 10 years. So I don't know how that happened.
Very prescient. Well, clearly, whoever was writing Family Matters was like, you know what?
We need
You know who that should be.
They had New Teen Titans number 41 just open, and they were like, "Hey, you know, it'd be cool."
There it is.
In Zandia, they meet with Brother Blood's, like his second in command, a woman by the name of Mother Mayhem.
Not ominous.
How are these people tricking anyone? How is anyone falling for this?
That's genius. I love it. I love how stupid everyone is.
It's so dumb. These people are idiots.
I love it. It's just like the biggest collection of dipshits. Which, you know what? Fair.
You know what? Real life has become beyond parody at this point, so I can't even say, like, there's no way this would happen. It would absolutely fucking happen.
Oh, dude, we're in the year 2021. Come on now.
Mike Pence is just shitty Brother Blood when you really think about it.
Yeah, he's like the weirdest, lamest version of Brother Blood.
He's the senator from fucking God Loves Man Kills.
That is correct. That is correct. He is definitely a comic book character. But enough about that, because boy, could I talk about that.
Enough about Captain Oedipus. Sigmund Freud would have loved.
A second to...
Sigmund Freud would have loved that guy.
Oh my lord!
So he gets to the Titans pick up Dick's signal because his disguise is immediately seen through. Like he shows up and they're like, "That's Robin."
Shockingly.
They're like, "We've seen this dude's face
computer technology too. They use like some sort of space age technology to be like, "Aha, we have seen through your disguise."
It's
like I don't know, man.
It's Dick Grayson with
the Bee Gees. Like this is clearly Robin dressing up like one of the Bee Gees. Like that's really not that hard.
Robin in the shittiest Halloween costume.
Yes.
Because like his whole thing at this point is that he's not Nightwing yet, so he's trying to find ways to be useful to the team while he can't go out into the field, and they keep going so sideways. So the Titans go to save Dick, and it's a trap. They get gassed. Starfire is not affected by the gas. Like at first, she kind of holds out, which I don't think is ever brought up again. I cannot ever remember reading something where it was like, by the way, Tamaranian physiology not affected by poison gas. Mm-hmm. I wrote down before they get attacked. I wrote down this quote from Corey. It says, "Blood's temple is huge. Dick could be anywhere."
Okay, I screenshotted that panel. I did, and I was gonna send it to my wife because that's the relationship we have.
True.
True.
That is for true.
Yeah, well.
Good for y'all. Love is beautiful, frankly.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
We would all be so lucky.
But yeah, no, I will say, and this is like a bit of a bridge, a segue, if you will, to some of the rest of this, is that, you know, Raven doesn't really get used as much as I initially thought. I don't think they use her enough. Mm-hmm. But I think as we transition from this part of the story into the next, she
becomes a lot more important.
She does, and it was actually, now that I've finished the arc again and I'm able to reflect on it, I actually think they deployed her perfectly. I don't know how you feel.
It's the thing with these ensemble books is that, like, when you have a team of 8 people, or 7 and then the villain hiding with them, you have a team of 7 people, you got to really pick your spots with everybody. And so, like, I think the real shining star of this whole run is Cyborg. I think this is the best he's ever written. I think he's so and it's because I read a lot of the books leading up to this. Cyborg gets a lot with Wolfman. Like, Wolfman clearly really likes his character because Cyborg gets so much in terms of like just personal stuff with people. I think he gets on like this really high level. Like, one part of Cyborg's story. This is just a branch here. Cyborg he works with this woman Sarah who does some work with disabled kids, and he's really gotten close with her. He's really developed feelings for her. Then one day he shows up. It's like a Christmas party or something. He shows up at her house in like a fucking. I gotta find this panel because I did screenshot it. He's
Vamp.
He's like wearing a turtleneck under like this blazer. Like, he looks fucking great. Where it was like very clearly like a deliberate choice they made for him. Fuck, I can't find it. But he gets to her house and he meets this dude like Matt or Mike or whatever the fuck the guy's name is. And the dude's talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, because me and Sarah are getting married, and she's not there, so Vic can't confirm it." So, and then he immediately has to go because there's like an emergency. And this is when Raven's fighting the Brotherhood, and he's just like, "Fuck, I gotta what, huh?" And he gets there and he's fighting, and everyone's like after the fight, they're like, "Are you good? Because you don't seem all right. You don't seem like yourself." And he's like, "Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone." They're all training at one point, and oh wait, that might be in here actually when they're training, because he starts lifting. He lifts like 15 tons or some shit because he's just
I think
working.
It was like 4.5, and then he wants to push it to 5 tons or something.
Yeah,
like that.
he's working through some stuff, which. He's stressed out. I gotta hit the gym, brother. Gotta get the weights.
See, and I'm glad you mentioned that because when I was reading this, I didn't focus too much on Cyborg, right? Because honestly, he's not really a mover of the plot,
right?
But I think that worked because he ended up coming across to me as I'm reading this as the glue.
Yes,
really. I mean, like, obviously Dick is the leader, Donna takes over as the leader, there's all sorts of drama there and sort of personal tension, and of course, you have Garfield is like this sort of comic relief character, but of course with some pathos because of his relationship with Tara, etc., etc. But to me, the one bedrock of the group seemed to be Cyborg. He's kind of he's the friend who's friends with everybody. Mm-hmm. and he's the one who is necessary for actually getting shit done.
Yes.
You know, so the focus doesn't have to be on him.
Right. He's the Billy Cranston of this team, where every problem in Power Rangers that isn't solved by punching is solved by Billy. Every problem that can't be solved by throwing something at something is solved by Cyborg.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really impressive, because you were right. This is an ensemble book. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved. But he is the one who is there through all of it. And I actually have to really credit the team behind this book for not forcing it. You know what I mean? For not forcing that into you. Like, hey, guys, you know, ding, 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 look who's the glue of the team. It's just
something you pick up on. It's
It's
something you notice.
Yes. They trust the audience enough, which is rare in a comic book, but they seem to trust the audience enough to pick up the dynamic there.
Yeah. So Tales of the Teen Titans number 41. This is the last issue of the Brother Blood stuff. Raven tries to use her soul self to stop Brother Blood. I wrote down he no sells it, LMAO.
He really does, man. He is absolutely just absolutely no selling this. He is Diesel in WCW.
He booked himself to go over here.
He absolutely is going over here.
He's Triple H looking at the writer in the back going, am I fucking going over?
Yeah, this is when Hashimoto got his ass kicked for real in New Japan and just totally ruined everyone's plans.
Let's see. Terra wakes up and uses her power to free everyone because they're like chained to like this giant rock. And so as soon as Terra's awake, she's like, "Oh shit, I got this. Don't worry about it. This is my whole thing." They fight a Sarlacc. Like it's a giant spider, but someone does say, "Hey, isn't this that shit from Star Wars?"
Yeah, they're fighting a Rancor here.
Yeah.
And then a giant like mutated scorpion out of Fallout.
Yeah. So this is the thing where I noticed, like, Vic is constantly saving Terra. Like, whenever Terra is in trouble, the person who is right there to save her is always Cyborg.
See, I didn't pick up on that in my first reading, so, like, I appreciate you pointing that out, because it kind of feeds back into our point here.
Yeah, like, there are, like, 2 or 3 times during this encounter, like, during this issue, where she is in trouble, and he's right there. Because that's him. That's his whole character he is the guy who you can count on to get to somebody.
Right.
And then she's more, it's like, it comes off like she's trying to let herself like these people. Like, it comes off like she is, like, actually really grateful to him. The senators get held hostage. Corey is like, I'll fucking kill you, Brother Blood, because Brother Blood has brainwashed Dick. They get captured again. They get captured no less than 3 times.
So many times.
They keep getting captured. It's crazy.
It's a good way to put Brother Blood over, though.
Yeah. Make it look strong. So President Marco sends goons to blow up the temple. And then Corey is like, so he's like, I'm gonna make Robin kill you all. While they're all like captured, he's like, I'm gonna make Robin do the thing that will drain all of you. And Corey is like crying out to him, and she's like, I did screenshot this where she's yelling, "Dick, I love you, Dick."
I'm telling you, man, he was saved by the Yank.
Yeah.
He was saved by the Yank.
He's like, where have I heard this before? This sounds familiar. It's really funny to me that a few years after this, there'd be this controversy. The controversy about them being in bed together, when it's like, they are so clearly having sex here. They are so...
Could not be more obvious.
So it could not be more clear that they are having sex and that Donna is having sex with that college professor.
Problematic.
Yeah, I mean, he's not her professor.
Meh, fair enough.
I mean, granted, he is a man in, at the very least, his mid-30s, and Donna is maybe 20 here. Different era,
mature for her age.
different time. She's an Amazon, it's fine. I guess.
She could totally kill him. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, like she could throw this dude in the sun if she wanted to. So I mean,
right.
I don't remember if this is in here or not, but it's not in here. Donna, when she tells Terry that she's gonna marry him, because he proposes to her, she takes the ring but doesn't give him an answer, and then she shows up at like after one of his lectures, and there's this student who is flirting with him, like very clear, like, oh, professor, I've been having a lot of trouble with this. Do you offer any private tutoring? And then Donna shows up with this gigantic fucking ring in her hand, and he's like, oh my god, you said yes, you're gonna marry me. And this random student who does not get a name, she looks fucking furious.
That's another thing that I was wondering, what is the point of the subplot? You can tell me this. What is the point of the subplot of Donna and...
Oh, it's just been an ongoing thing. It's just been the ongoing plot up to this point, is that Donna has been dating this guy, and maybe the arc right before this, he asks her to marry him. And so it's really just set dressing to set the scene, because they get out of the situation, thanks to the yank.
That's right.
And President Marco's guys blow up the temple. Brother Blood seemingly falls to his doom. So issue 41 or 42 opens with Donna making wedding plans, including this one little note that Dick is going to give her away at her wedding, which I think is awesome. Because Donna doesn't have parents. I mean, I guess Queen Hippolyta counts as her mom.
Yeah, but I think it's good. I mean, it's tying back into this idea that whether he's in or out, Dick has made this impact.
Yeah, I mean, Dick and Donna are best friends. Like Dick's, it really gets downplayed in modern context because for whatever reason, every adaptation involving these characters is just like, who the fuck is Donna Troy?
Right.
Like they don't give a fuck about her. It's crazy. But Dick's three best friends are Wally West, Roy Harper, and Donna Troy. Like those are the three people that like he cares about the most in that context. So Gar, once again taking liberties, he hits on Terra and he's like, hey, you want to? He does this to her all the time, especially like he does it with everybody, but especially Terra. He's like, no, you want to go make out? You want to go? Like one issue, he asks her like they're looking at screens or something, and she's like, are we just gonna sit around and watch TV all day? And he said, like, he doesn't look up from what he's doing. He's like, we can go up to my room and neck, which I had to remember the neck.
Oh my god,
the neck is like old slang for make out, because it definitely sounds like he's like, I mean, you could go upstairs and suck my dick.
Yeah.
You could give me the sloppiest of the toppy.
I don't want sex. I just want the neck. That's all it is.
He said,
That's what it is.
I need that M-A-P.
Jesus, God Almighty. Oh my God.
Oh, that joke is for Foxy.
Oh my Lord. What did you rope me into, man?
It's all downhill from here. This is gonna be bad for everybody. You think you got it?
That's a good point.
Me and Manny are doing Back in Black, so that's gonna be a mess.
I appreciate it. I do.
So he hits on Terra, and he's like, "Oh, give me a kiss." And she's like, "I'd rather kiss a cobra." And he's like, "Damn, that's it." He said, I wrote down. Quote, damn, Terra, didn't know you were such a freak.
See, that's, again, we're jumping ahead of the hentai game here.
He said, I got you right now. And then, like, they're walking somewhere, and she's last like, what's your fucking deal? Why are you like this? Why do you choose to be the way that you are?
Yeah, but, all of this does... in retrospect, right? That like knowing that Beast Boy feels this way, it does sort of color the interactions they have later.
Yes.
And how she's trying to manipulate them all. And when I look back on it, I'm starting to see, now that I'm talking about this, that really she does find a way to manipulate all of them based on how they view her.
Yes.
Right? And how Gar looks at her like he has a crush on her. And he
Yes.
has his own childish, Pepe Le Pew ass way of going about it.
Right.
But it is genuine.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
actually
and
does care about her in this way. He does really like her.
Yeah. And then she sees how Donna and Dick are with her, and she tries to play off that, and then she sees the way that Raven sees her and knows, I can't play her like that.
I cannot play Raven. Which, this is an aspect of Raven's character that I think is totally... Like, every adaptation involving that character really plays up the magic stuff with her, the Trigon stuff. I feel like her empathy is like the one thing that things don't touch. Mm-hmm. And that her power above all else is empathy, and that she can feel everything that other people are feeling all the time. That's really something I think that more things should try to accentuate, because I think that it's a really fun element of her character.
Yeah, and that's why I think Raven, sort of like Vic, I feel like they didn't really lean into it explicitly, but I found Raven, again, sparingly used, but I still found her to be the most compelling character in all of this.
Yeah, she's really fucking exceptional. Also, I would like to point out, there's a page here where Terra asks her if she's Indian, and she goes, "No, I'm from Azarath," and it's like, okay, but you are, like...
Right. Yeah.
Raven's
and
modeled after like an old like Indian actress or model, or like it's something I commented on was that everybody has these really defined features, which I think is cool. Manny
Perez
pointed out
did a great job with that.
Oh yeah, Manny pointed out that Gar looks like Mark Hamill.
Yo, I almost choked on my beer. That's exactly right.
He looks like Gar looks like Mark Hamill. Terra has these like fucking giant buck teeth that that is pointed out. I think Cyborg comments on it. Like he's like, yeah, buck-toothed kid or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like a deliberate choice, which I think is great. I feel like
they don't look like stock characters,
right? And
yeah,
I think that there are so many fantastic artists working in comics today, but I feel like I really miss characters having these really defined, very human features.
Well, I was just thinking about this because I watched Halloween 3 recently. Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. I miss the eras of like leading actors just looking like a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's so cool. And it translates to comic books too, where like they don't always have to be the exact same person with a different haircut.
Yeah. I think that like one note that it's something that I just have recently found out is that like Emma Frost, if in flashbacks she always has this like really like wide like aquiline nose, and it's like a character trait that Emma Frost got a nose job when she got rich.
Jesus Christ.
Like somebody breaks her nose, she's like, I paid good money for that nose.
Man, no, they should have kept the Streisand there. Just fuck that. I'm not changing it.
that also would have ruled. But you know, Terra asks Raven, "Hey, why don't we talk? Why aren't we? You're like the one person here who doesn't talk to me. We're not friends or anything." And Raven goes, "Oh, 'cause you're evil."
And this actually brings me to another note that I have, that one of my favorite artistic choices here is where they briefly have this moment where every panel is just a shot of Tara's eyes and a shot of Raven's eyes for pretty much a whole page. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's this issue.
Well, this issue is, like, the name of this issue is The Eyes of Terra Markov.
Mm-hmm. And that to me struck a really strong chord with me. That's one of the most memorable scenes in the entire, like one of the most memorable pages in the entire arc, I think. And that's a bold move for a teen comic essentially.
Yeah.
This was not DC when they were aiming to be gritty and appeal to adults necessarily.
Right. The target audience of this is like 15-year-olds ostensibly.
Yeah, like late teens, I guess, like that sort of thing. But that was great because you really see so much expression in those eyes, and I think Perez needs a lot more appreciation for that kind of thing.
Yeah, Perez he should be on that, like treated in that same kind of rarefied air that like John Romita Sr. is seen in. There's actually another really good couple panels here of Terra and Gar standing on they're standing on the lake, overlooking, like across from the tower, and it is mostly in shadow. Like they are drawn entirely in black, except for some highlights here and there. The sun is going down behind them, and he goes to say something, and she just says shh, and she kisses him, and then the first time you see any color on them is this close-up of them pulling away from each other, and it's perfect. It's so well drawn. But yeah, then we get to Tara talking to Raven, and she's like, "Hey, how come you and me never talk? You're the only one I don't really know." And Raven says, "I have always sensed a corruptness in you, a feeling of inner evil."
Yeah, they write her like Michael Myers, which I don't necessarily care for.
But I kind of love, like, she's like, I can't wait to fucking kill Raven.
Yeah. Now, if we may, I would like to propose. We're getting close to the territory where we get sort of Slade's backstory.
Yeah.
And I would like to propose that we sort of gloss over that one because...
Oh, yeah. I just wrote... My notes there are... We get Slade's backstory. Vietnam. Experiments.
He's just the Punisher mixed with Captain America. Really.
Yeah, he's evil Captain America. That's the character.
Yeah.
What if Captain America was a mercenary? All right, cool. Got
it. Moving on.
The Titans do some training, and see, what did I write about this? Donna and Corey stick fight on a raft. Gar wants them to mud wrestle. Why is he like this?
Good question.
Again, taking liberties. So Gar and Terra then fight, and he seemingly beats her. Like, he turns into like an anaconda and wraps around her, and she's like, let go of me. And he's like, yeah, give me a kiss. And she's like, I'd rather kiss a Wookiee. And he's like, hey, well, you got to settle for a cobra.
Keep raising the bar here. Keep raising the bar.
It's like, I can't do that. It's a bit above my pay grade. And then Terra starts whooping his ass. Terra beats the shit out of him.
It's a good bit of foreshadowing.
Yes, because she just totally snaps. And she's like calling him a creep. And she's like, like, she all but says, like, I fucking hate you, man. Like, she summons, like, the power of a volcano and, like, throws molten lava at him, and Starfire has to save him from it. And then she's like, like, there's this close-up on her. Yeah, that's where that close-up of her and Raven is, where she's like, I just freaked out. I was thinking about the terrorists that are threatening my mom. Or my parents. Now, the Titans have been poking holes. I think Gar does it, actually. He pokes some holes in Terra's backstory, where she shows up in the new costume, and he goes... Which, by the way, I love her initial costume. I think her first costume is way better than her second one.
Oh, yeah.
Her first costume is very Jack Kirby. I think it rules. But she's like, I made this one myself, and I promised myself when I felt like I was ready for it, I'd start to wear it. And then, at some point after that, they meet Geoforce. And so Beast Boy goes, hey, so you told me you made that costume yourself? How does your brother have the exact same one?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, again, like, you're starting to see these little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah,
here.
and this is like the big one here. So everyone's like, what the fuck is with Terra? Because the terrorist thing also doesn't make sense. Somebody points out, like, if it's like your parents are the king and queen of another country, if they were kidnapped by terrorists, it would have been all over the news.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, don't worry about it. And
So this is around the time where she starts feeding all that information to Slade, right? Where
she's still feeding all the information to Slade. And that's what that shot you were talking about. It's her eyes, then Raven's eyes, then Black, and then Slade's eye.
Mm-hmm.
And then
brilliant, brilliant stuff.
My notes here are: what the fuck is Terra wearing? This girl is 16. She is wearing. I'm going to describe it again. She is wearing a silk nightgown with a slit all the way up to the hip.
Mm-hmm. Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, yes, yeah, very Megan Thee Stallion. She's wearing like a turquoise necklace. Again, smoking, and she's smoking like these long fucking cigarettes. Like,
oh yeah, man.
Like she's in like a French art movie. Like,
yes. She's smoking Virginia Slims hundreds. You know what I mean?
Was it with the extendo?
Yes.
It's such a long cigarette. It's crazy. And Deathstroke's like, you're gonna fuck this up. Don't fuck this up. Because the Titans could totally just whoop our asses if we fuck this up.
Right.
And she's like, it's fine. You know how fucking strong I am. I got this. And then, yeah, we get some stuff with Slade's backstory, and that issue ends with a mysterious woman watching Slade and Terra leave. And she says, Slade, it's been a long time, but not long enough for you. And then the next issue opens with Dick Grayson in his apartment, typing on his typewriter, being a man at the time. And you just see Slade get closer to the window. He crashes in on a zip line.
Like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah. Like, imagine Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12 on that zip line to the ring. But instead of into the ring, instead of into the crowd, he goes into a 4th-story window and he's like, come on, kid, don't play dumb. We both know who you are.
Yeah,
you know what it is.
And it really does show how much like the secret identity is a big part of their protection, because it really does feel like like how Dick is so naked without his identity.
Yeah, because like, hey, I know who the fuck you are. I'm at your house. Actually, I don't think this is his house, because it's like, well, it's an apartment, but it looks like it could also be an office, because he has a nameplate on his desk and another chair opposite his desk. It's very weird. Oh, no, he says, good of you to be at home. Dick then has to fight Slade in his apartment. Slade just beats the shit out of him. He throws him into a wall. He backfists him out of a window. Dick dives out of the window. He destroys a explicitly stated $300 leather jacket.
He does indeed. That's very like Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah. I would say this is... So what was $300 in 1984?
All right, I'm going to look that up. You continue, and I'm going to look that up.
Okay. So he saves himself, but he fucks his leg up, and Slade starts shooting at him from the window. And he is shooting... Like, Dick is running into, like, Central Park, because they're in New York, and Dick is just running into the park, and Slade is just shooting at him from a window.
By the way, $792. There you go.
Fuck. That is the price of a brand new Fender Player Series Telecaster.
Mm-hmm.
That's how That's how expensive this jacket was. Good
You
Lord.
could get a mediocre apartment in Louisville for that much.
That's slightly less than my rent is.
Yep. Yep.
And so he does realize, like, okay, there's way too many fucking people here. I should probably not fire into this crowd. That would suck. Which, weirdly responsible of Deathstroke the Terminator.
Well, it does show his desperation, and it does show that he's in a bit of a time crunch, because it's already it is established over the next few pages that he has already gone after the rest of the time.
Yeah, he got everybody else already.
Yes. And, you know, it's around this time that, we're introduced to Jericho shortly after?
Yeah, so we see the woman is Adeline Kane, the other Kane in this story, who is Slade's ex-wife, and her son Joseph. Joseph, who was later revealed to have powers, and takes the codename Jericho.
And he's a mutant, explicitly.
He is explicitly a mutant.
See? This is what I'm saying. This is an X-Men story.
Well, because it's that the experiment that gave Deathstroke his powers, for some reason, as a side effect, gave Joseph powers.
Correct. So it's like Spider-Man, where his sperm has something going on with it.
Yeah, it'll give Mary Jane cancer.
Exactly.
That's a story that I'm gonna have to do on this eventually.
You have to.
I have to do Spider-Man Reign on this podcast eventually, and that story is fucked. That story is
a little bit. Just a little bit.
The weird thing is that dude, that's Kyle Kari Andrews, who went on to write an Iron Fist run that I really liked. So it's wild to me the same guy wrote that.
Yeah.
So Dick sends out his emergency signal. Nobody answers, and he's like, "Oh shit!" He got to everybody already. He gets to Corey and Donna's apartment, which I love that Corey and Donna are roommates.
Yeah, I do like that a lot, actually.
Like, give me more superheroes living together. I think that's cool. And so we get to see how Slade got all the other Titans. So he gets Corey with like a gift that overloads her, that just fills her with energy and knocks her out and blows up the room. Like, she ends up outputting a giant blast that knocks her out and blows up the apartment. He gets to Donna's apartment, or to Donna's because Donna's day job is that she's a photographer, so she's developing the pictures, and so it's a he got to Donna with a thing in the bottle that basically turned the acid in her tray in the dark room into like ether and knocked her out.
Yeah, and I really like the gist of what they're going for here, which is that
he got them at their most vulnerable.
He got them at their most vulnerable, and it's explicitly Tara. And this is where we get into Dick having to be the detective.
Yes, yeah,
right?
We get to see more of, hey, my dad is fucking Batman.
And I gotta say, this directly ties, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but you know, I really like how they're showing that influence, right? Because it's not long after this where he reveals himself as Nightwing.
That's
right?
in this issue. That is the end of this issue is the debut of Nightwing.
And I will say that's one of my favorite bits of this, because I am a huge Nightwing guy. I have a giant Nightwing tattoo on my leg.
That's why I picked you to do this story, because I was like, first appearance of Nightwing. I was like, what can I come up with for Jake? And I was like, oh, this, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I own the actual issues of this, which is why I had to do the trade, because there was no way I was going to break out the original issues of this.
Like, I think I have like the Dark Raven saga, but I don't have this.
Yeah, I have this one, and then I have Nightwing #1, like the first time he had his own solo comic in the 90s, which isn't awesome, but it was also a panel from that is where I got this tattoo. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I loved this because, like, I thought the reveal of Nightwing was very sweet, and it was very sentimental, and it was very concise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it really does go through, not only do we see the detective of him figuring all of this out, right? Or slowly and needing some help, but still him working through it. But we also see those influences that he talks about with Superman and with everybody else in his life, bringing him to Nightwing. you know? And the more I think about it in retrospect, and I'm glad that we're doing this right now because it's giving me more to think about looking back about how everything happening here is culminating in Dick growing up and really all
Yes.
of it growing up. This whole arc really ties back into all of these people having to grow up.
Right.
And we see it in this issue. I think this issue encapsulates that to a T.
Yeah, because they all are caught kind of at their most vulnerable with their guards down, and it is a byproduct of them being so accepting of this person. And why would you not want to be accepting of this person who's given you no reason to doubt her? And they all kind of have to learn the harsh truth. Like, that is what the message they kind of leave with at the end of this is that sometimes people are shitty. No matter how much you try to love them, no matter how much you try to do right by them, sometimes people suck. And so Dick gets back to the tower, and Adeline Kane meets him there and is like, Adeline Kane meets him there, tells him the backstory, tells him like, hey, Tara got Raven. It was Terra. She's fucking with you guys. Also, I'm Slade's wife. This is our son Joseph. And I do want to really, really quickly touch on how he got to, because it is in this issue, how he gets to Gar.
Oh, I love this.
It's so funny.
It's so Gar. But it's again, he's getting him exactly where he's weak. It just happens to be because Gar is a funny character.
Yeah. It happens because Gar's kind of dumb. He's like, sends him a fake letter from the Teen Titans fan club, which happens to also be a bunch of girls. And they're like, can we get signed? You're our favorite. Can we get a bunch of signed pictures of you? And Gar, full of himself, pulls out a stack of headshots.
And every time he licks the envelope.
Yeah, the envelopes are drugged. So every time he licks them, he's just getting more poison.
Some Looney Tunes ass shit right there.
It's out of control. And he just passes out, and Slade just is like, you vainglorious dolt.
I love that. Vainglorious dolt.
He talks like Plankton.
Okay.
Shut your mouth, you mediocre clarinet player.
I needed a second to recover from that. Thank you. Thank you.
They both got one eye with tracks.
Why not?
So Adeline gives Dick their backstory. Vietnam, the war, they fall in love. There's this dude named Wintergreen here. Wintergreen is like Deathstroke's Alfred. Also,
Evil Alfred.
Huh? Yeah, evil Alfred. Also, their relationship is interesting, because later Adeline...
Are they gay?
Yeah, okay. I was also thinking that. Like, hey,
I think they're gay.
Because Adeline says to him, like, something to the effect of, like, you always loved him more than I ever could. And it's like, huh. Interesting. Weird.
I like that, though.
Yeah.
I like the little hint.
Well, it's it's at the time you couldn't say these two characters, these two men are in love. So you just get a bunch of you get Black Tom Cassidy and the Juggernaut. So you jump ahead here to when Nightwing to Dick getting the Nightwing costume, and he says, I'm just gonna read this page because it's fucking exceptional. Because he says, You're right about that to Adeline. It's about time I became a full-time Titan again. I've run through 100 names. Nothing seemed to fit. Each one sounded so strange to my ear. But there's one I kept coming back to, and a costume design I couldn't get out of my head. What's strange is both name and costume are based on other people, both mentors and friends. The Batman taught me, guided me, trained me. What I am, I owe to him. What more can I say? And Superman, I grew up in your shadow too. You taught me honor, selflessness, the true meaning of the word hero. A long time ago, you used the name I've been thinking about. It was a name from your Kryptonian heritage. I'm the sum of so many people who have influenced me, shaped my thinking, and given me love. Mom and Dad, you were the first. What you gave me will never leave. It's forever locked in my heart and soul. Batman, you took in a young, frightened boy, and you showed him how to become a good man. He talks about how much he loves Corey. He says, but now I become someone new who commemorates all those who made me someone special. I become Nightwing. And he steps...
That is so beautiful.
It's
really,
so
I can't stress enough how much I love that scene.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I'm in the minority here. I kind of love the old, like the 80s Nightwing costumes.
I don't hate it.
Like,
I really don't hate it.
It's supposed to look like, he's supposed to look like an acrobat. I like that his mask is different now.
Yeah, because I mean, I love the like post animated series look, just the sleek black with the blue.
Yeah, I think that's a really great
That's
look.
great, but
I like the blue and the
what
gold.
he's going for.
Yeah.
I think the blue and the gold is beautiful.
I think the only reason to switch from this costume, at least at the time, is that he looks too much like Deadman.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
no,
he
you're
looks
not
like
wrong.
blue Deadman.
You're not wrong.
And then Adeline says, Joseph is more than just a Terminator's son. He's got special powers too, and has taken on the name Jericho.
Yeah, no, I'm too much of a wrestling fan to not.
Oh, I had to stop myself from doing it the way that Chris Jericho did it. Which, as I read this, I was like, wait a second, is Chris Jericho just a big Teen Titans mark?
He might be.
He might be.
Hey,
He's of the age.
he's such a carny.
I mean, he would have been a teenager when the show was coming out. He's the target audience. He'd have been like... Jericho's in his early 50s now, so you'd have been... Yeah, like...
Look up his birthday.
Yeah. I want to say he was born in 1970, but...
1970.
Yeah. Yeah, so he would have been like 14 when this came out, so it's possible. So we cut to the other Titans, now in a super fucked contraption. Designed to stop all their powers from working.
Yeah, I'm disgusting. So I looked at that and I was like, that's a really elaborate bondage rig right there.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know Will is going to listen to this, and I know
yeah.
Will is going to be like, yep, there it is.
Yeah,
He's there with me.
Yeah, he's already thinking it. So Starfire's like, let me out of here, and he's like, you'll kill me. Yeah, I'm not fucking stupid. You're saying right there.
That's genius. Thank you. For the love of God. Thank you for comic book writers who are willing to appreciate something that's true, which is that this is very obviously a stupid thing to do.
Why on earth would I let you out of here? You will completely fuck me up. Nobody believes that Terra turned on them. And while they are shocked and in horror at this, also Terra again is smoking. She is so full of nicotine.
Constantly.
She is constantly smoking.
As I'm pulling on my vape for the 1000th time.
Yeah. She's not even like, there's no pretense with her. She's like, what's with the drop mouth, Logan? Your pretty little girlfriend isn't all true, blue, and pure. Mister, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah, she sounds like, a street urchin from like an old New York, like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Well, it's established at the end of the story that her dad sent her to America after she was born as to avoid a scandal. Because her mom is not Geoforce's mom. Is not the queen. It's just a different woman.
Oh.
And so Terra is was raised in America. So she probably was probably is kind of a street urchin. And I hate that in my head she kind of sounds like Harley here. Like, what would teenage Harley?
What I hear.
Yeah, I hear what would
exactly
teenage Harley sound like? Is this? So listen, scumbreath, no one controls me. Not Slade, and certainly not you. I do what I want to do, and right now, what I want to watch you damn do-gooders do, or right now, I want to watch you damn do-gooders die, real slow and real painful. God, you people make me sick.
So diabolical.
She cannot fucking stand them.
And this is where I get to sort of the I feel like it was a little too forced. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm being I've been so. I see every villain now is sympathetic. Is this sympathetic figure. It is kind of. It's kind of refreshing to see just somebody who is just shitty, just because.
You got a point.
She's just evil. And she doesn't have a reason. She's just an evil teenager. And I think everybody who's ever been a teenager knew an evil teenager.
No, you're right.
Knew a girl who was just evil, just to be evil.
You're right. No, and I think you have a point. This is ultimately a comic book, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think because they decided to make Slade the character with the sympathetic backstory.
Which was quite the reversal.
The reversal, yeah.
For me, and now that, again, this is another thing that I'm glad we're doing this for a lot of reasons, but one of them is that it's helping me sort of reframe the way I'm looking at it, where at first I was like, I want Slade to be the evil guy, and I want Terra to have some sort of redeeming quality, but sort of reversing that actually kind of works.
Yeah, because Slade is doing this because of his son.
And that's the thing, too, is that as we get into this final battle, this final fight sequence, which bangs, by the way.
Yes, it rules. It's so good.
Bangs, dude. I don't want to go blow for blow, because we could spend all night on that. But, the thing that struck me was that it ended up being Slade being the one having to help them bring Terra down.
Yeah.
And ultimately,
it's actually more Jericho controlling Slade for a while, and that's kind of the thing. So we'll kind of skip and jump here because it's a lot of just Dick and Joseph infiltrating, Joseph showing Dick how his powers work. Dick does give somebody a fucking black mass spinning heel kick into the side of a mountain, which rules.
He does.
Because, no man is ever truly good. No man is ever truly evil.
Right. Oh, God damn it. It's going to be stuck in my head all night. Thank you for that.
It's always in my head. It's always there. Yeah, so they're like, you didn't bring us Kid Flash or Robin. And they're like, Kid Flash isn't a Titan anymore, so don't fucking worry about him. Actually he says, you want him, you pay extra. And he's like, and I've got top men looking for Robin.
Total bullshitting.
Total bullshit. He immediately calls Wintergreen. He's like, hey, did you fucking find this guy yet? Wintergreen is being held at gunpoint by Adeline. Who then explains more Slade backstory. We get this proto Slade costume, which is kind of nuts. He's wearing the shirt and he's got the pants are there, but it's this weird shirt, this ski mask, and saber.
He has the pirate boots.
Yes,
the big fold. I love the pirate.
He's got the Tatanka boots.
Yes, you're right. He looks like Nightwolf.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Holy shit, that rules. And so then Slade gets fired from the army. Jericho possesses some dudes. He and Dick infiltrate everything. Get found out because Jericho's powers he can only control somebody's speaking if they're knocked out. Right. And so the dude whose body he jumped into is he's waking up. He's like, oh shit, this dude, we gotta go. We gotta get crazy. They escape, but then Dick throws like a gas grenade right as Jericho comes out of somebody's body, which blinds him, which means that Jericho can't use his powers. Jericho, for those of you that don't know, Jericho's power is that if he makes eye contact with somebody, he can control them. He just jumps into your body, which is kind of busted.
Well, yeah, it's a really cool power, and I think that it's one of those things. It's like, again, another wrestling callback, but Minoru Suzuki recently did an interview where he said that wrestlers who are good at everything are not interesting.
Yes.
And it's the fact that the wrestlers who don't have something in their arsenal are interesting because those weaknesses actually add some drama. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of what I enjoyed about really all of the powers in Teen Titans. I think that's why this team works so well.
Is that the only person who can really do everything is Starfire? But even then, if you can just fist fight Starfire, she's at somewhat of a disadvantage because her power is the speed and the flight
and the sort of redirection of kinetic energy. Yeah.
Right, where Nightwing's thing is, he's just a dude. Nightwing is just a guy who's really good at fighting. Gar is kind of dumb. Like everybody has a thing that like makes them weaker, or that can be exploited rather.
And yet, this final sequence, as we get through Dick and Jericho working their way through, and finally finding a way to break them all out, right?
Well, what happens is they get captured because they get past the goons, and then Terra immediately gets the jump on them. Like, she takes a puff of her cigarette in her mouth. She's like, "Hey, check this shit out!" Bat.
Yeah, and but then the way that they actually carry out the final fight.
Yes.
Right. Which again, I don't need to go blow for blow on because it's awesome. Everybody should read it, and I don't particularly want to spoil it. But the way that works is that we end up seeing all of those weaknesses and all those frailties, but also their strengths.
Right. They all play off each other really well.
And that's the strength, is that they're not overpowered. It's they work as a team because they complement one another.
Right. Slade is possessed by Jericho. Terra does not catch on to this. She doesn't realize what's happening, and so she thinks Slade is turning on her. Mm-hmm. And he's like yelling at her like, "No, I'm not. I am not in control of my body. This is my son." And then when Jericho lets him loose, he's like falling, and he realizes that something is going to fall on. Or he realizes that Terra is going to attack Joseph, and he's like, "You gotta get out of the way," and that flips Terra's switch. She's like, "There's no more laters for you. There's no more anything for you. You betrayed me, and I'm going to kill you." And so the whole time, Gar is trying to, like, in his head, he keeps going like, "No, she's with us," and he yells, he's like, "She's with us. She's Terra's with the Titans, pal." And she's like, "No, I'm not with you. I've never been with you. I hate you." And he's like, "Why?" And she says, "Logan, there doesn't always have to be answers to everything. All my life I felt hate. You, both my damn brothers, you're all weak. All of you possessing power while refusing to use it. But I know how to use my powers, Logan. I can force all of you to do what?" And then they fight her some more. The thing I love about this is that they don't beat her.
Yes, I love that. I loved that. I really did love that because I think that adds such an extra layer of tragedy to her. And it even goes into, spoiler alert, whatever, this is all spoilers.
Yeah.
But like they go into the fact that she had to be the one to defeat herself.
Right. She is overwhelmed essentially by her own power.
And in the eulogy, right? So after she dies, they all get out. The eulogy is that she had such potential and they go through, she could have rerouted rivers, she could have sculpted the land, she could have done all of these things. And of course, this is with the context of them trying to act like she died heroically, right? And she was cut short from doing those things. But of course, the audience knows and the Titans know
Yeah.
that what that really means is that if she wasn't who she was on a philosophical, moral level,
she could have been.
She could have
been the best ever.
Exactly.
I want to read the last page of Terra.
Please do.
She said. So it says. The last couple pages, actually. Her pursed lips part, and the sounds which echo forth are garbled and inhuman. Hot boiling blood gushes mildly from the earth's open wounds, and its skin fractures and cracks. And if a world could cry, it surely would. Her name is Terra Markov, and she is little more than 16 years old. And due to the fault of no one but herself, she is insane. No one taught her to hate, yet she hates, without cause, without reason. No one taught her to destroy, yet she destroys with glee, with relish. Don't look for reasons which do not exist. Plainly, Terra Markov is what she is, and she has taken a great power and made it as corrupt as she. Hers was the power over the earth itself. She could have brought life to deserts, heat to the frozen tundra, food to starving millions. She could have dammed raging rivers and funneled water to lands parched, dry, and dead. Her powers were limited only by the mind which controlled them. A mind which sought not hope, not love, not life, but death. And she found death, but not her enemies, her own. And Gar is like... Gar is trying to dig her out of like the rock slide and the everything that she created, and he's still like, and eventually Donna starts helping him, but Gar can't accept that she is just like this.
And there's a wonderful metaphor in that. Like, there really is.
He's like, Donna is telling him, like, did you see, she's not who we thought she was. And he's like, no, Deathstroke made her do it. It's his fault. I don't know how he did it, but he did. And he did it. He had to. And, like, he can't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
he can't accept any of this. Right. That to me is the beauty of it, is that Gar himself is not able to accept anything about who she is. And again, that just comes back to this whole story is about just growing up and learning to accept who you are.
It is about Dick Grayson growing up from Robin and Nightwing, but also Garfield Logan learning that just because you love somebody doesn't make them... You can love somebody to the ends of the earth, but you can't make them be anybody but who they are. And
that, to me, is in every character. No matter who it is, in what big or small way, every single character in this is learning to come to terms with the fact that things can't stay the way they are, and things can't be as simple as you think they are. And, you know, everything we've just talked about, and just to wrap all of this in one neat little package for me, is that, one, Wolfman is a great writer.
Yes.
And this whole story is just full of different little moments where we see this theme continue to run through it. That things aren't always as simple as you think. And even when they are simple, you can't try to attach a narrative to it that doesn't fit, because that's what a child would do, and you can't be a child forever. Yeah. And really, no, I'm so glad that we had this conversation for a number of reasons, because it really did bring that home to me. I think that it's much more profound than I originally thought, and I already thought it was damn good.
Yeah. I do want to leave off on kind of the last thing that happens here is at Tara's funeral, which I didn't notice this before, but fucking Jason and Bruce are here.
Holy shit, I missed that entirely.
Like, it didn't click in my head, but like, yeah, there's Jason Todd at Tara's funeral.
I missed that.
It's weird. And also Donna's fiance. But the last thing that happens here is Geoforce, Brion, Tara's brother, is they're telling him like, oh yeah, she died fighting the Terminator. They are, this is the great lie that the Titans are committing to.
Mm-hmm.
The six of them are, or five of them at this point, because Wally's gone. So Dick, Gar, Raven, Donna, and Cyborg are committing in this moment. Oh, and Starfire. So,
and Corey.
Yeah, so the six of them are committing to the story that Terra died a hero. Because they can't bring themselves to be honest with Geoforce about it. They can't.
Well, they're superheroes.
They're superheroes, yeah. And
that's the whole superhero thing.
We can't bring ourselves to be honest with these people. But they have to let him believe that his little sister, who he loved, was the person that she was. Or was the person that he believed her to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as that broke Gar's heart, what would that have done to somebody like Geoforce? Who,
mm-hmm.
yes, she's my half-sister, and my father sent her away when we were kids. But she's still my sister. You know?
Yeah.
And they just choose to lie to him. And this is the last appearance of this character until Blackest Night.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
And that's, for one, miraculous, but two, it's the right decision.
Yes. Like, and what's great about it is that this is Terra dies kind of at the perfect time. Because we are not at the point yet where characters just come back all the time for no reason. At this point, Jean Grey is dead. And they have not yet established Madeline Pryor as being a clone. Gwen Stacy is dead and has been dead at this point for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Characters at this point in time, death is pretty permanent. The only way
it means something.
Right. The only way you write somebody out of this at that point is by revealing them to have not have died.
Right.
For it to have been a ruse of some kind. So Terra dies here, and she is gone until... When was Blackest Night? 2008?
Something like that. That's what I would have guessed, yeah.
So she's gone for 24 years.
Yeah.
Give or take.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah. Actually, no, Blackest Night is after that. She's gone until like 2010, 2011. Because I want to say it was Final Crisis, Blackest Night, Flashpoint in that order. Like as the big year event.
2009.
2009. Okay. So right around the time of... Right after Final Crisis, I guess. Because yeah. I think during that story, Dick is Batman and Tim is Red Robin. So
that sounds right.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah, she's gone for 25 years.
Mm-hmm. And which is what it should be.
When she comes back... Go ahead.
I was going to say there are consequences there beyond just, Tara's dead, but also it means a lot to those characters. It means a lot to right. Vic and Corey and Donna and the rest of them.
Like, it means something to these people. And this is, I'd say that Terra is kind of a rare case where a female character is killed off and it is not in service. This woman dies to give this man trauma. Terra is the villain of this story. She is not a powerless character who this is something that is done to her. She is...
plot is centered around her. It's not right. centered around the men in her life. Yeah.
Right. This is the story of Tara Markov that happens to affect the life of Gar Logan. The way that Bruce Wayne dying affects the lives of all the people around him.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's the fact that it means something not just for the readers, because I think so many deaths in comics nowadays are for the readers. It's to play off the reader's emotions.
Right, it's to shock you.
Yeah, but this is supposed to mean something to all of these characters.
And to the reader, because this is, again, Wolfman playing off of Kitty Pryde. And
precisely.
You're playing off your expectations of this character. But she is established as being this way a few issues before this happens. And it's just a really good story. This is a real good culmination of this run up to this point. And
Yeah,
honestly,
I
might
can't
just
recommend it highly enough.
yeah. If you've never read this story, if this us talking about this over the last couple hours is the first you've ever heard anybody talk about the Judas Contract, read this story, and then honestly, I'd recommend comparing it to the adaptations of it because they've adapted this story 3 times. There is her arc in Teen Titans, which paints her much more sympathetically. Like
Great stuff.
She is being used by Deathstroke there, for what appears to be no reason. Deathstroke just kind of hates them in that show. They do it again, just straight up the Judas Contract, the movie, which they animated a few years ago. I want to say it's only like an hour or so long. So check that out. And then season 3 of Young Justice, the plot is an inversion on the Judas Contract, which I think is pretty cool. Where it's like, hey, Terra's definitely working for Slade until she's not, which I think is pretty cool. But thank you all for hanging out with us the last couple hours. Thank you, Jake. I know it is like the dead of night there, so I appreciate...
It is 1 in the morning.
I appreciate you hanging out. And let's do this again sometime. And to you guys listening, thank you again. Until next time, take care, y'all.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to make you read or watch something next time. We're going to have fun.
Yeah, sounds good. I think that might be a fun way to do this is any guest, your first appearance will be me making you read something, and then second time, we'll go back and forth from that. But thank you guys again, and take it easy.